Alrighty, well, back on it with the car. I'm starting the stripping process. I picked up this chemical stripper from out of New Zealand. Cooper's Strip Club paint and varnish stripper. The stripper that gets it off every time. Gotta appreciate their humor. I've used it on other areas and it seems to work pretty good, but I just put a light spray coat on all this paint so far, and it's pretty remarkable how it starts bubbling up right away. So I'm gonna get after this, scrape it out. This pre-panel spray, like that totally peeled that up. But like this is just started. I probably put it on maybe a couple minutes prior. Pretty thin coat. I'm not doing all of the inside and all that, but I wanted to get the outside kind of stripped off. But yeah, it's pretty crazy how that stripper works so well. So it's got the bucket of the stripper, and then you spray it on, and they send you a bunch. Well, you can order a bunch of other stuff with it. They send you like steel wool and pads for scrubbing things up, some spray bottles, steel wool, and then you have the flusher there that you use at the end after stripping everything. So I'm gonna see if we can't get this all stripped up and bare metal on the outside at least, and we'll do some doors and the hood and the fenders as well. I did some of the fender already, but yeah, we'll get this scraped off with a scraper, and then we'll get after it with another coat and just keep doing coats till we're bare metal and see how long it takes. All right. Alrighty, well, first coat down. This thing eats through spray bottles like crazy. It like just chews them up and spits them out. So I might have to, I'm trying to pour it on and then wipe it with the oxy pads. But yeah, this is the second application. I poured it on the roof, spread it around, and we'll see what happens. It's paint's coming off pretty good though. I'm not doing the engine bay because it's the engine bay. I'm gonna prime sand it really good, prime coat it, and then cover it with the dark green. And we'll see. Like this came off really easy, so it's probably wise advice to remove any panel coat that comes on panels. Just get it off before you trust it to throw paint on it. Not that my paint prep work is going to be better than that, but at least it'll be my fault when it fails instead of the Chinese man or person that dipped them. Anywho, yeah, let's let that sit for a minute and give it another go. Well, this thing has gone through quite a few appearance changes. So I believe this is the original red oxide primer undercoat, although I could be wrong. And it looks like the original green has been gone over with this ivory or cream white, which actually was the color of the four-door Amazon that my dad had, that I remember driving in back in the day. Some kid came and wanted to buy it from him. So we fired it up and started it, and I, to this day, still remember that ribbon speedometer doing its thing, and it was absolutely mesmerizing to me when I was a kid. Anyway, this thing's gone through the original dark green, then white, then back to green, and possibly a couple coats of green, and then to that ugly purple color I don't know who wanted to do that. But anyway, yeah, the purple color is the easiest layer to come off. Everything else is taking a little more time, but you can see remnants of that white. Question I have though is, anyone that has these, are the tops known for being pretty easy to push in? Like, I don't know if I should try some shrinking or something on those just to keep the oil canning to a minimum, or just do some noise deadening on the underside like factory, and that should be enough. But like, there's a ton of filler on here too. So anyway, I gotta keep scraping away. I got my wife out on an errand grabbing me a couple new spray bottles, so hopefully that'll help me get the last few layers off. This scraper is much better than the little one I was using, and the pouring it on and smearing it around technique did not work as well as spraying it. So I'm gonna keep at it, and yeah, hopefully I'll get my electric DA and some 40 grit on here and try to get it to bare metal in most parts here before the day is through, but we'll see what happens. Alrighty, so got most of it all stripped off. I'll have to hit it with DA here tomorrow and try to clean the rest up. Obviously these fenders cleaned up nice because they're brand new, but trunk I got down to basically that red oxide primer. I don't know what's on top of that, but that must be the original green, but it does not want to come off very easy. So I'm gonna hit it with the sander. Roof pretty good, but again, it's got a lot to go. I also scrubbed around the window area, get the goop out of there so we can seal it up, and I also sprayed some on this green in here to get it kind of cleaned off. Good thing I did too, because it was not adhered very well. Reason I'm doing the stripper stuff rather than sandblasting, the guy I bought it from actually got another 123 GT restored, and I guess the people that did the sandblasting were a little heavy-handed and ended up damaging some of the panels. And I don't know, I mean, a bucket of this stuff was pretty respectable as far as price goes. And if you're not afraid of a little manual labor, it's a lot cheaper than sandblasting it, and I would argue probably better for the metal panels. If I had access to maybe a chemical dip, like Can Dig It or like those guys do, I would maybe do something like that. But I do not have access to that. So I got, I think, $500 or $600 into this stripper stuff. And yeah, just some manual labor. So I'll hit it with sander tomorrow and see if I can't get the other fender. I kind of started on the front clip and the radiator support. Got a lot of the green stuff off of there, so I'll get the hood and the doors. The other fender's pretty good, and I'll see if I can get those all stripped as well while I'm sanding, possibly. Anyway, we'll revisit this tomorrow. Alrighty, well, I went a little further than I was expecting on the other panels, but we've got car nicely stripped. Good enough for me anyway. Used several coats. Oh, it's a little dusty because I've been sanding everything. But several coats of the stripper. Coopers. Cooper Strip Club, export quality, paint and varnish stripper. Gets it off every time. No sanding, so easy. I sanded because this thing had so much paint on, I actually ran out. But it did work well. I have seen some people, they'll spray it and then coat, like throw saran wrap on it and let it sit, and that works quite well. But yeah, I got a little crazy with it. I was kind of getting rid of some of the John Deere green inside too, and in the engine bay. So beyond that, I got to do a little more tidying up in the front here and inside before I throw a coat of primer in there. I also want to do in the holes there, the seat belt bolt. I'm going to weld it to the washer and then hold it up from underneath and weld it to the body so it's kind of a captured nut instead of having to have two people to tighten the seat bolt in the back seat. So now I'm gonna get the inside of this kind of cleaned up. I'm not gonna get as crazy on the sanding as on the outside. I wanted to get the outside totally sanded up so I can get like a spot dent puller, and I'm gonna kind of try to do as much metal work before red oxide primer rattle can. And then anything that, like there's still some filler over here, so I'm gonna pull out all the filler, try to fix the dents as much as possible in the metal, and then from there I'll do the red oxide primer, and then if there's any more filler work that needs to be done just to get things a little smoother, I'll do that after I get the red oxide primer on, because unless you use the fiberglass Bondo, it's not waterproof, and I don't want rust because the Bondo will fill in, it'll kind of absorb the water. And this is going to be interesting, so I'll have to get that banged out. I can reach some of that from behind, so I might be able to bang some of that out from behind, and then yeah, we'll see how that goes. The other stuff I got done, I got the hood done and the doors as much as I'm gonna do. So there's the doors. But yeah, it was down originally green, the dark green, and then there must have been a fender bender or something because there was extensive work done, filler, and then it was painted white. And that's that custom bit I had to do on the hood. I had to do some on both corners. Body work, some metal work. There's some dents up in here too that I'll have to try to pull out. Yeah, so I'm gonna get a stud welder. And start pulling dents in the metalwork, and then once that's kind of good, then we can look at putting all the panels on. But before I can do that, I'm gonna have to clean up this garage because it's an absolute mess, but also clean up inside here and get this sprayed with the red oxide and then the dark green. So I'm going to clean it up first, then I'll do the captured nuts for the seatbelt, and then seam sealer and paint. So yeah, that's kind of how we're gonna go. I'll possibly do some more tomorrow, we'll see. Well, here we are at it again. I'd like to say I wear the same outfit all the time for video continuity, but am I the only one that doesn't like to get multiple things of clothes dirty? Like if I'm working and I know I'm going to be consistently doing something, I just keep wearing the same stuff. It's probably disgusting, but whatever. I don't care that much. But yeah, just in case you guys are wondering, if I do this all in one day, it is not. This is spread out over a few days. I just wear the same clothes. Anyway, this is where threw some seam sealer on the welded seams. Did some caulking along that edge and there as well. Cleaned all this up with the wax and grease remover. Picked that up from Auto Body Shop. Works really well. And yeah, seam sealed up through here because that's open-ish, and just kind of blobbed it out. I also did under here because these top rails tend to rust out pretty bad, so I seam sealed that. Went around in the engine compartment, kind of just painted it everywhere really. Looks like I've got a gap up there on that top corner. Might have to touch that up a bit. Or not. So, I'm gonna try our hand at doing some painting here today, possibly. But before I do that, I gotta clean up this mess. All the strip paint, dust like crazy. Dust I'm not too worried about. It's probably only going to get worse. But we'll get the get all this swept up. Then I'm going to weld in those captured nuts for the seat belts. And then I'm going to start putting some of that dark green, brushing that dark green paint on. Hopefully it goes on okay. If not, I think I'll probably pick up one of those electric paint sprayers that everybody is doing videos on, and maybe try my hand at that. But what I'm painting today, it's pretty much invisible. No one's gonna see it. I also took care in the trunk here as well. Slapped a bunch of, oh, where's my light? Oh, did I leave it on yesterday? Yeah, I think I did. Yep. Totally forgot my light on yesterday. Anyway. Sealed up in here. Kind of just blobbed it on everywhere. But yeah, there's carpet that goes over that if I decide to do carpet. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, but anyway, let's get sweeping this up. The carnage. Yeah, good night. It's going to take forever to clean this up. Maybe not forever. Maybe half an hour to an hour. Get that cleaned up and then get on to the next thing. I might do a little more touch up on some seam sealing. That way it'll be dry before we start trying to paint. So maybe I'll do that first and then we'll clean up. Okay, so we got, these are the seatbelt bolts for the back seat. So what I ended up doing, they had like 2 thin washers. So I took one of them, cleaned it up, and then I'm adding a thicker washer here to add a little more strength because these washers are pretty thin. So I'm going to weld that nut to the first thin washer, and then I'll kind of tack that other thicker washer to the thin washer, and then I'm going to put it underneath the hole in the car, hold it with a magnet or the bolt, and then weld it in from inside. And then I'll have captured nuts to the seat belt, so I won't have to have 2 people to put them in and take them out. It looks like maybe it had captured nuts. I don't know. This doesn't seem like it'd be from the factory, unless this was an aftermarket, like installed at the dealer sort of situation. So anyway, we'll get her done. I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, so this I'm working out the conundrum. So I grabbed some welding magnets and just stuck them next to the hole through the bolt in the nut, and then kind of fed them up through the hole and let that magnet catch them. I'll show you underneath. I completely over welded it, but so I welded the nut to that thinner washer, then welded the thinner washer to the thicker washer. Now I'm just going to weld it from the inside and get it nice and tight. Weld it up from the inside, and then yeah, I can do a little asphalt spray on that, and there'll be captured nuts for seatbelts. So yeah, that'll be good. Happy with that. I'll show you when I get it welded in. Alright, so I ended up having to kind of tack it in one spot and then bang the sheet metal down so it was tight against the washer, and then ugly welded it in there. But captured nuts, they're not super straight or aligned, but I don't think they were anyway. So yeah, that's better than having to crawl underneath and have someone help me put rear seat belts in. So that should take care of that. Now I just got to clean up the back of this and start putting some paint on things, I guess. Well, I'm a little surprised. I was going to brush this on, the farm implement paint, but I remembered that luckily when my mother-in-law was downsizing, her husband, my father-in-law, had bought a paint sprayer. It appears to be circa 1980s, something or other. It's a Lemur. The Super Lemur L300. Anyway, I mixed up some farm implement paint, and this is really just for so I can do it again. I'm gonna explain what I did here, otherwise I'll probably forget. So when I did the shade match on the original green, it appeared to be 1.5 black to 1 John Deere green. So what I used is this thing here, 3 to 1 to 1, and I don't know, my math could be very wrong, but 3 would be 2 times 1.5, which means 1 and 1 should be 2. So 3 to 2 is the same as 1.5 to 1. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I did. So I filled this up to like 4 or 5 black, and then I did 1 a green and 1 more a green. And then everything I've read on these mixers, they suggest about a 10% reducer. So that's what I did ish, about a 10% reducer, and then stirred it like crazy because if anything, it's never stirred enough. So stirred it, and threw it in the Lemur. And I had a hard time stopping. I mean, shoot, it was just going on so good. I'm hoping it dries a little darker, but yeah, it goes on pretty thick. That's one thing about the Lemur that's not great, is not much for misting. But I got the inside painted, and because it is so thick, I'm not gonna do more than one coat. It's massively thick. I did these pillars as well, just because then I'll be ready to hang everything and start getting stuff going. But there's the wings, cowls, engine bay. And yeah, don't look too close because there's drips and crap everywhere. Although some of those were there already. But honestly, that's better than what I was expecting I was gonna get with the brush on. So thank you, shout out Keith Evans for buying the Lemur 3000 and me not letting it get thrown away in the downsize. But yeah, honestly, it's not horrible. I mean, it is horrible from a perfect auto body standpoint, but it's not really what I'm going for here. Anywho, so that puts me in a position now where I can finish the e-brake. That pretty much takes care of the inside paint-wise. And engine bay-wise. So now I can mount the master cylinder, clutch cylinder, finish brake lines, bleed brake lines, start potentially assembling things other than just the axles and suspension. So yeah, that'll give me something to do in the midst of body work. And I did order a stud puller for dent pulling. So you just weld a little stud into the low spots and then just bang them out. So that should be coming off of Temu. It was like 150 bucks. This one I was gonna spray green, but most of it inside of this was black. So I had a rattle can of flat black and I just sprayed it black. But up there between the shock towers, there's some sound deadening stuff I'll have to put on there. But yeah, anyway, it kind of takes care of the non-visible paint. The underbody's done. I already showed that. Yeah, because I've got lowering springs on, I'm probably gonna have to drill a different hole into those limiting straps, because as it is now, the springs kind of rattle around in there. So I'm gonna jack up the rear axle until those are kind of snug, and then reposition the bottom out limiting straps, like drill a hole and hang them a little higher so that I don't have to worry about when I jack it up the springs moving around. Anyway, yeah, I'll let this dry. Hopefully it kind of dries a little darker. As I recall from when I was doing the sample, it did dry darker. So I did notice that the Lemur 3000 does work better if it's got if it's a little thinner. Oh shoot, it's not even the 3000. It's only a Lemur 300. Well, without the extra zero, it still was awesome. So that's a win for the Lemur. I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna continue to use the Lemur, which I probably will, honestly, and finish the rest of this with it, and then it'll probably be done, or potentially order a cheap one off Amazon. But shoot, if it works, why not? Because I was planning on putting it on thick anyway and then sanding it down. So yeah, first is the metal work, then red oxide primer, filler for anything that I can't fix with the bodywork, and then we'll Lemur 300 it, not 3000. I mean, 3000 would have been nice, but we'll Lemur 300 the rest of it. But yeah, pretty happy about that. And I think that is probably going to be about the end of this week. So I guess next week we'll kind of revisit revisit what we're going to do next week. Possibly hanging panels and getting things straight. Front clip, fenders, all that stuff, getting that hung. And doors, getting them positioned right. And then we can start with the metalwork on like just getting dents and little things taken care of. But yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, we'll finish this here, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Feel free to comment now. I fixed that.